about it all day long. And if you guys have questions about, other beers, other breweries to go to, anything like that, let me know. I mean, craft beer is all about support, collaboration, helping each other out. I mean, that's the thing of the game here. I'm happy to point you guys out to another visit today. If that's your Golden Acre visiting San Diego, which is the Napa of beer pretty much. Pretty cool. I love living here. And we are really lucky and fortunate how many amazing breweries there are. Cool. Alrighty. So are we okay with the heat so far? We did kind of give you guys a good morning, right? Alright, cool.
Do you have a choice?
Yeah, you have a choice, exactly. I mean, there's a few reasons it's pretty hot here. A, we're in Escondido. Escondido is a pretty warm city. And then B, we're making beer. There's a lot of heat that goes into that. Brewing, everything I'm about to talk about, heat. That's what I'll be kind of explaining in the next 10 minutes. And it makes us think about things that get drilled into our brains when we listen to advertisements to hear things like strong brewed taste. That's pretty much a whole bunch of baloney. There is no cold temperatures in brewing. I mean, fermentation there is. We'll talk about that later. But it's just funny things that we hear and then cold filter. Okay, everyone does that. That's what you do when you filter your beer. It happens about certain temperature. Anyway, I'm happy to break any of those myths. If there's anything that you guys have heard and you want to clarify, let me know. That's what I'm here for. So has anyone ever made their own beer? I'm just curious.
Not yet.
Sweet. Excellent. Round of applause to these people. They are doing the Lord's work. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, to this day, there are things called Trappist breweries. 6 of them are in Belgium, 1's in the Netherlands, and they actually operate on a monastery. And there are monks employed there brewing beer. And the whole goal of their thing is to better their community with the money that they're making off this. Actually, okay, does anyone here like a super beer geek? Super beer nerd? Okay, cool. I've been waiting for years to have this. A couple nights ago, I got to drink West Letter 12, which is like the holy grail of beer. Like, it was the most dirtiest moment ever. I was so stoked. And I poured it out so slowly in my glass. I think I smelled it for about 3 minutes before I even took a sip of it. And it was really cool because it actually lived up to all the hype that I've heard. And it was just really one of the most perfect beers I've ever tasted. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, West Letter is one of these Trappist monasteries in Belgium. And this one, some of them you can get over here. Like, some of you can go to Bethel and pick them up right off the shelf. But this one does not sell their stuff off that location. So you have to go to Belgium to get this beer. Or you can buy it legally or smuggle it in your suitcase, I don't know. My friend had it and he wanted to share it with me, and I was very happy to take him up on that offer. But beer is really cool. It's a really fun thing. I mean, and all the people that are involved in beer, amazing. That's why I worked here for 4 years. I have the best coworkers ever. I love everyone I hang out with. And I had a little bottle share last night. That's one of my favorite things to do. Have people over, everyone bring a bottle with you, crack up, have fun, talk about what you're smelling, tasting, have a charcuterie plate, if you will. It's a good time. That's a great word, charcuterie. It's almost as good as legislator. I like that. Okay, cool. Enough about this. Let's bring it into the brewing process. That's what I'm about to go over right now. So, this series of tanks behind me is our brew house. And it is where we are going to be making this wort. W-O-R-T. This is not yet finished beer. This is pre-fermentation. Almost everything is in it except for yeast, which is the most amazing, hardworking employees we have here. So this is pretty much a sweet cereal, non-alcoholic beverage. This is what you make first, and then you toss that into another container and add that yeast, which is going to make that magic happen and make it into the adult version. So we'll kick this off with malt and barley, because this is the heart and soul here. And most importantly, this is our sugar source. With every alcohol you need one. With wine, this is going to be grapes. Tequila is going to be agave. Rum is going to be sugar cane, etc., etc. Malt to leave the lid on it, there's a hole on the side, half the rail, just dump a couple grains in your hand. Boom. I could be really mean and give you guys a grain that would taste like you're licking dirt or eating ash out of a bonfire. I'm not going to do that. You guys seem like nice people. And so
Not really.
Not really. And so far in the past couple minutes,
Not really, anyway.
I've been getting a lot of head on. Keep that going on. If you guys are head nodding, that is the most amazing and positive affirmation that Ford and I can have. That makes me feel good. Thank you. Cool.
Yeah.
So, with each batch that we brew, just one shot through this system, we're going to use anywhere from about 6,000 to 10,000 pounds of grain.
Oh, there's one right in your head.
Massive grain levels outside. Each one has about 60,000 pounds in it. We bring the grain in, we're going to run it through that white box in the corner. That's our grist mill. Going to be grinding it up so we can easily access those sugars that they inside of it. Then it's going to go up this blue grain elevator, across, and find its way into this tank. This guy is called the mash tun.
Okay.
We then pump in a whole bunch of water, take that grain and butter to about 155 degrees, start mixing it around. You kind of think the mash tun as a very large pot of barley meal, or like a barley porridge, if you will. Whichever one is better in your mind. I'll let you paint your own picture of that. Yeah. Yeah, where are we getting our barley from? So it's coming from a couple places. This one is our two-row pale malt, and this is going to be the base of all of our beers. Every single beer is going to have that in it. It's going to be about 80 to 95% of the grain. So that one, a lot of it we're getting from the Great Western Malting Company, and they're up in Washington State, and they also have a plant in Canada. And then some of our specialty grains we're getting from all over the world. We get some stuff from the UK. Our smoked porter has a malt in it that has been smoked with peat moss. And we get that from Scotland. We get some Belgian malt, Vienna malt, all kinds of stuff. French, wherever we can get it. So it's coming from all over the place. Depends on what we're making. Cool, thank you. What do you guys think of that stuff? Very good. All right. So, now that we got our barley porridge going on in this mash tun, what we're doing in there is getting that sugar out of the grain and into the water. Also flavoring it, depending on what kind of grains we tossed in, and also color. The color of your beer is coming from the grains being used. So when we make lighter things like IPA, which is what we're brewing right now, we're going to have a lot of grains that look like this. And then we get into things like porters and stouts, we're going to toss in some grain that looks like this. To cook a little bit longer, and the color of this is going to translate directly to your beer. So up next, we set everything from that mash tun into this tank behind me. This guy is called a lauter tun. Pretty much a gigantic strainer. Inside of that, it has a false bottom which acts as a filter. So it's going to catch all that grain, and it's going to let all the liquids fall off. We're then going to send all that to the next tank. So, now that we have all this grain on top of here, we pump it outside into a container, and there's a semi-truck that picks it up every single day, and all calls to a local dairy farm, where it is then cattle feed. And we have a guy that takes up some of our fed grain and makes non treatment out of it. And we sell those in the store, they're called Stone Nose. And home brewers, you guys can use your fed grain if you're not already. Cookies, stones, pizza crust, pie crust. You can go online and Google fed grain recipes, all kinds of awesome things online. Well, so, we're going to send all the sugar water into this tank right here. This guy is called the wort kettle, also known as the boil kettle. What do you think we do in there? Oil. Oh, thank you. You guys are paying attention. Sweet. So, it's also going to be the first place we have our next ingredient. This is how they look at their wild board. These guys grow on vines about 20 to 30 feet tall. These guys are a little fat, they're kind of wilting away and running out, but it's the fresh ones in there. So, yeah, they grow on vines about 20 to 30 feet tall. A lot of them are coming from the Pacific Northwest, Washington State, the Yakima Valley particularly. They like growing in cold, wet places. So, this is how they're going to look in the brewer's world.
Is that a pod or a flower or what?
It's a flower, like it's a kind of like a cone.
Oh, okay. All right.
Cool. And if it looks like something else, that's because it's related to it. Yes, this is a sister plant of hemp. I would like to see who's very interested when I say that. And they kind of have the same effect on you. I mean, you're going to get a little tired. You're going to get a little bit better mood. I'm a little bit hungry later on. You know, there's a lot of resemblance. And so, the difference is with cannabis, it's creating a crystal form. And that's called THC. And with hops, we're getting an oil. And that's called Brewing. Brewing is what we're getting off our hops. And that's why, you know, because people ask me, oh, can you smoke hops? And I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. Totally different thing. Actually, before hops were used in beer, they were used in teas for medicinal purposes. They were given to people with anxiety and then insomnia. Yeah. And people still do that, and the teas don't taste that great. Ways that you can get hops others, and then in beer right now, you guys know that brand, Hops of Maine. They do that organic stuff. That's that hippie stuff, as my dad likes to say. They actually make a deodorant with hops in it. Yeah. You might have seen hops somewhere else, but I think some hops in the shampoo. Okay, that's up here. So, this is how hops are going to look in the brewer's world about 95% of the time. These guys are hop chemicals. I'll pass this around. You guys are going to smell this. Do not eat this. Homebrewers know what I'm talking about. It'll ruin your palate, and you'll just be bummed out. Alright, that was smells awesome. It really makes me want to drink an IPA right now. So, hops are kind of like the spice of beer. Hops are giving us the citrusy, piney, grassy, green, floral, and especially bitter notes. Those guys are the bittering agent in beer. And the reason that nobody likes their first sip of beer. And they're also a natural preservative, which is pretty darn cool. We use our hops and our alcohol percentage to keep our beer. We don't run it through a pasteurization process or anything like that. Yeah. Cool. So speaking of bitterness, the first time we add them in our brew is going to be in the squirt barrel. The ones that you add in early on and take to a boil are going to be your bittering hops. When you take those guys to a boil, it'll be a chemical reaction fast to happen. And they're going to release something called acetylene. And that's going to affect the bitterness in our beer. After that, we pump everything into this glass tank, which is called a whirlpool. And in a whirlpool, we're going to add more hops, and you're going to be finishing hops. But when you have later on, and don't take to a boil, you're going to get more flavor and aroma out of it. Like, what do you guys think about the hops that are being passed around right now? Smells great, yes. Very nice. So all those delicate flavors and aromas you might be getting on that, we're going to pretty much burn off in that first round. That's why we're adding more later on. Then with some of our beers, we're going to hop it again. That's a very popular thing in the craft brewing world. We like using a lot of hops. We like being aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
And that's part of why craft beer is kind of expensive. We're using a lot of expensive ingredients.
It's like
you get what you pay for.
hamster food or something.
Oh, that's the brewing process. And this is 120 barrel system. When each batch we have through this is going to give us about 4,000 gallons. Cool. Yes.
Any of, I guess, the brewmasters here, do any of their homebrew make it into this own brewing system, I guess?
Yeah. The question is with brewers that work here, do any of their homebrews and stuff kind of make it into a system like this and become one of our beers? Yeah, so we actually have two brewers here. Their job title is small batch brewer. We have another system that's like 15 gallons. They'll brew 15 gallons one time. They just come up with new ideas. And we have a teaching panel that happens Monday through Friday. They talk about it. Anyway, there's no openings for that position right now. Yeah, and one of the coolest ways to make it on this system Okay, so back in the day, brewing did not move like this. We did not have beautiful $2 million pieces of equipment from Germany. Back in the day, the biggest difference between beer now and then is we have the brewer's yeast brand isolated, and so we know what fermentation is. It's a science. That's how we can brew the same beer every time and have a taste state. Back then, you were pretty much making a sweet cereal drink like this, only you're kind of making like a malted meal kind of thing, and then or a grape nut, and then just leaving it out in bins, and you leave it out for weeks. And what happens is there's wild yeast in the air. We could take a petri dish around right now and catch a yeast strain, so we can go analyze and all that. So this yeast is landing on these open buckets of sweet cereal drink, and that's going to start fermentation. So back in the day, people thought this was magic. It was, magic. They take this cereal out, and over a few weeks it smelled different, it tasted different, and people felt different, which is the key part of that. That started catching on. So when breweries have these big, huge vats of this cereal drink fermenting by magic, sometimes, as you can imagine, a not-so-good tasting yeast cell landed in that, and it would spoil the whole thing, and it tastes horrible. So they put gargoyles on top of their brew houses to protect and ward off evil spirits from ruining their beer. They just thought it was magic. So with us, we're not dealing with that. The gargoyle is just protecting us from being super lame and using corn and rice and high fructose corn syrup like a cheap sugar, fermentable sugar source, and protecting us from having really cheesy commercials with chicken bikinis on Super Bowl Sunday, and protecting us from putting iPod speakers on our 18-pack. Yeah. All stuff that we don't want to be a part of. This gargoyle is beating the crap out of us and warding it off our plate. So that's what it means to us. Cool. Yo.
How long does it take?
Yeah, how long does this process take? Give me about 4 to 6 hours to go through this whole series, depending on the recipe we're doing. Cool. Yeah.
Do you treat your water, or is it a natural source?
Yeah, we treat our water. What are we using? So we use our local municipal water district. I don't know if anyone's had that video town water. Nothing you want to write home about. But thank God we have technology. So we've already worked this through a triple reverse osmosis system, dual carbon filter, blend those waters, we strip out a whole bunch of chlorine and fluoride, make it taste awesome, but at the same time we strip out a whole bunch of minerals, which we want. We need minerals in our water to drink here, so we re-add them in the brew house in the form of chips. Cool. Wow, great question, Jeff. Yo.
How much is one of those things that they come from Germany? How much are they?
Yeah, so this is about $2 million. Yeah. Yeah, the question is with expansion. So we've been in this building since 2005, and this has been our sole brew house. This guy runs 24/7, has been for the past 7 years. We just got, like a month and a half ago, 2 months, delivery of a septic one. Yeah. And that one is being installed right now. It's running that way behind this one. We'll see it later on in the tour. Yeah, so there's a lot of things happening of expanding. Cool. You guys want to go check out our second stop? Awesome. We're going to go through some fermentation things, and we're going to talk about turning this sweet cereal non-alcoholic beverage into the amazing social lubricant called beer. So everyone follow me this way.
Hey, I'm down.
also scoot over this way. Be careful of these fine little puddles, but I do have a sign up, so if you do fall, you can't see me. If anyone needs to get a drink of water or use the restroom, those activities can be taken care of right over there. So these guys are a fermentation tank. This is where we turn that sugar water into the real stuff. So with each batch up front, we're going to get about 120 barrels, about 4,000 gallons. Each one of these fermenters has about a 400 barrel capacity. So that means we're going to do 3 consecutive batches of the same recipe. So right now we're doing IPA up there. Once we get all 3, we shove them all inside. Then we're going to add in a whole bunch of yeast. And that yeast is going to go to town on those fermentable sugars. It is going to eat them, and as a byproduct, it's going to create carbon dioxide and ethanol. So that yeast is going to make booze and bubbles for us all day and all night. Very good thought. After fermentation is done, we're going to send that yeast to sleep. So ale yeast likes working at about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It is obviously way hotter than that in here right now. All these tanks are temperature controlled. They're all triple walled, and they have a glycol jacket that allows us to regulate the temperature, just like Orangey and what was it? Nate Dogg and Orangey regulate. That's right. Cool. All right. Awkward silence. Anyway, so
we know
once we're done with fermentation, we drop the tank to about 36 degrees, which makes all that yeast inside clump up, fall asleep, and just drop to the bottom. It's just going to go dormant. We're going to collect it all in this big cone shape. We're then going to hook a hose up to the bottom, send it to one of our yeast tanks. We're going to take a nap, and since we have such a strong yeast brand, we're going to use it again. So we're going to get about 20 batches of beer from it, which is pretty awesome. Like I said, one of our hardest working employees, and we have millions of them. Cool. After that, we're going to send everything through a filtration process. We're going to knock off those little solid particles and make it crystal clear. And then get pumped up in those tanks. Those guys are called bread tanks. Pretty much a big holding vessel. When it gets to there, it's got booze, it's got bubbles, it's been filtered. It just needs to be sent to its new home, which is going to be either a keg. Kegs are done in that corner over there. On that machine, we're usually doing about 600 to 1,000 kegs a day. And if it's not going to the kegging line, it's going to go to the bottling line, which will be our next stop. Yes? Yeah. She knows her stuff. So we're controlling the temperature, keeping that yeast in a happy working environment, but at the same time, exactly, that tank is building up a whole bunch of pressure. There is a whole bunch of carbon dioxide that's being made in there. So for the first 1 or 2 days of the beer, we're going to do something called blow off the tank. So we're actually going to put like a 55-gallon kind of drum here, it's plastic, and we're just going to shoot that straight into here. Yeah, it goes down because it is building up a whole bunch of pressure. Yeah, from the top down, exactly. And your next question is probably, what do you do with it? You guys are probably releasing a lot. So at the level that we're producing right now, it's stable, and we don't have to worry about it. But as soon as we get that second brew house going, and we get, so here's the fermenters right here. There are 30 more the same exact size in that corner of the building. And we're going to need another 30, 40 more once we get that other brew house going. When that happens, we are going to have to worry about capturing that carbon dioxide and then figuring that out. But we're thinking about that. That's in the process, but right now we're okay. And that's part of why brewing used to be extremely dangerous. You know, and the old school brew houses and stuff. You know, all this stuff was being all the CO2 was being released, and it kind of dropped to the bottom. And, you know, a brewer would go down to pick something up and not know. And, boom, you know, kind of like people that work in sewers, sometimes that's really dangerous. Same thing. Brewing is scary. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, cool. You guys want to go check out the bottling line? Sweet. Let's head this way.
swimming in there.
Be drowning, yeah?
I know.
Be drunk.
So, this is our bottle. So here's our bottling line.
Pretty crazy, loud, insane environment when this is going on. It's going on Monday through Friday. It begins with all the pallets that are stacked around us. They are all filled with empty bottles. So these get made for us up in LA, shipped to us throughout the week. When they get here, we can just start filling right away. You guys aren't supposed to see this. Yeah, so this is our 16th anniversary. It's pretty phenomenal. I had some last night just to rub it in. I'm just kidding. I like you guys. I'm going to give you free beer in a minute. So we take these pallets, we stage them right here. We throw the cases onto this rack. This first machine is going to lift all the bottles from the box, drop them onto an upper rack. They get set down. That box is going to take a shortcut to the end. Those bottles are going to get forced into a single file line. It's going to get the laser etched enjoy by date put on the bottleneck. The bottle gets flipped over, cleaned out, and then it's going to get filled up with beer. The moment that we've all been waiting for. So, some of you guys might want to scoot this way if you want to see it. Do you see the two silver carousels in the back of the room there? Those are the filling stations. Each one of those carousels has 72 filling heads on it. The one on the left is used for those 22-ounce bottles. That's going to do about 240 bottles a minute. And the one on the right is going to do 12-ounce bottles. And that guy can push out about 480 a minute. Yeah, and that's not even like super new equipment. Like almost every piece on this bottling line is from a different decade. Those fillers are actually soda fillers from like the 60s that got converted. So those aren't even like Bentleys of fillers. Those are like Toyota pickup trucks. They get the job done, and they're reliable. Just like mine, which has 340,000 miles on it.
What?
That's right. And no air conditioning, which I love right now. Okay, cool. After they get filled up, they get capped off, grouped into lanes, brought back to their empty box. We're going to fold it, tape it, repalletize it, load it on those docks over there, take it down the street about 1.5 miles from here to our distribution headquarters, which has a 25,000 square foot cold box, which I wish I was standing in right now. So once everything is bottled, kegged, it gets sent over there, and then it's going to get